Hello, welcome to my channel. It's good to have you here. So today I'm going to talk about acts of psychoses, and this is under judgment. This is a Geburah concept in the Kabbalah, and this is also a Satanism perspective. Maybe if you would like to underpin aspects of judgment, how this can pertain to, and how we can be pulled into those spheres. So, if you would like to listen, stay tuned. Hello, welcome to my channel. Sorry about the noise. Someone's cutting the grass. This actually leads me on to what I'm going to talk about, and I'm going to talk about this really hard topic of mine. I can't go into too much, I don't want to get into trouble, but I want to talk about this to help you guys in understanding aspects of judgment and mercy, these spheres. And I'm gonna do it because I'm a mom, and I'm not gonna do it because I want you to go through this, okay? So I'm gonna give it to you like this so you can understand it. That in understanding aspects of rising, we may fall into aspects of this energy, which might be an I do energy. We might have done this. I did this ages ago. I did it when I was about 17. Right? So I did it a long time ago. I was up here. I was very loving. I'm a very loving woman. I care. I bake my family's cakes and stuff like this. I care. Right? I'd make an effort to take myself away from where I went to go to see them, and I would mainly do that trek. I would always go to see them, see my family. I would always make sure that they were all okay. I'd listen to them. I'm very calm, very respectful to them, stuff like this, and so that was all in the past, and I was very kind woman, yeah. So I always used to think I weren't good enough for them for some reason because they didn't really have much to do with me, which it made me feel a little bit of a lack, because Pisces do that anyway. Pisces generally have that. Like, what else can I do? What can I do to help them, type thing? And then people are like, it's too much for me. You might be too much for me, but you bake cakes and stuff, go see them, hi, all right, stuff like that, right? So it was like that, yeah. So that's kind of like how I used to be. I used to go see them though, right? I used to make the effort. So just so you can get an understanding of like family dynamics that played out in my life personally, okay? And there weren't a lot of times where people would put themselves out for me. It's interesting, right? Very interesting to listen to what I'm saying to you. So I moved away because of things happening that I can't go into a little bit now, but I'll go into it in a bit. But it all brings it together. It all brings it all together. Understanding the effort I actually made and the lack of effort that they're making. So hopefully you can understand this. I think my light's gone out, but oh well, we're gonna do it. So understanding mental health would be here in support and judgment. So in aspects of mercy, that's an aspect of support in one perspective, in a perspective of your understanding, support and judgment. So you might feel lack of support, so you might sort of like be like, what's going on here? And you might fall. You might have moved away from your family, you might have done something, like whatever. Don't matter, they might not be there, so you might not feel that support. It could be anything, okay? So it could be anything. We can get into this and just really understand this from any sort of neck of the woods that you come from. You might have moved away or something, and you might not have felt that support, so you might have failed this concept because you might not never felt supported, so you have to support yourself. Remember that faith, and then bring it back into yourself, and then go to judgment and see, and then stand. As an individual, as a man or a woman, right? So these are the types of things that we learn anyway in everyday life. This is when you get to 18 and you move from the nest and you stuff like this, right? So this is like that concept. But we can also get into it in mental illnesses. So I had this really weird experience, right, where it felt like a programmable state. So I'm going to explain a psychoses because I feel okay today, so I can say this. And I feel like I can talk about this and bring this to you guys so that you can understand if you've ever had like something like a psychoses, which is a mind a freeze. I felt like I was being dragged. Well, I'm going to say hypothetically speaking, okay? And it was almost like I was being dragged to, not there because I weren't supported, but I do, and then go into Darth, see So this can be an experience of rising in the Darth energy. So I see, and then reaching crown, I see what? Well, someone's putting it as if this is a true concept, well, that's a very, to understand everything that's really truly going on in this world would be very hard to define in a societal understanding. Very difficult. And I believe that this is might be a very difficult process to go through by yourself, if you're going by yourself. So anyway, let's understand this from an individual one, and rising to that one concept. Well, let's just put it bluntly, obvious. When you rise to this concept, that's a nice experience there. But you might remember trauma. Okay, so I did that. I remember trauma, right? And then I remember trauma. So in this process, I remembered the trauma. I needed to remember going through a Darth as a Persephone. Okay? And then you rise to there. I know I'm safe. I know that's not happening to me anymore. I know that it's over now. Yeah? I know my truth. I know what happened to me as a little girl. Right? Then I rose. Right? However, now this is going to merge into like programmable states that we can go through in the society, what they've created for us to sort of burden our brains with. You think the higher classes must really love to push us through these programs. And I'm not talking about like middle class ones on YouTube for you guys, and I'm not talking about you guys, I'm talking about like the higher classes, the big in the game ones, the ones that sit there. You gotta think like football ground, right? Let's hypothetically go there. Going in. So understanding these programs, the higher classes, I believe, they love to watch, and you got to think, is this world an experiment? That was one of the ideas I had when I was a kid. I was like, this is an experiment. This is definitely an experiment, right? So you got to think, push your eyes in the head concept. Are you in, a programmable state? Is this a program world? Is it? Right? So we can understand this sort of whole different perspective here. Okay, all this here is very different. Understanding, underpinning programmable states, but they're all programmable states, right? So you have the higher classes, and they're like, what do they get for entertainment? Football. We have football stadiums, we have TV, we have Netflix, we watch drama as well. What do? They create programs on the plane and use us as little experiments. Maybe. I'm not joking either, right? So this can understand like how you can understand like a false spiritual, people talk about don't go into light, or people say don't do this, don't do that, and they're like, there's some programs or spiritual practices that can be false, but it's just been an inversion. Okay, so this is how we need to really grasp these things. They're not spiritual fallacies, they're an inversion to an actual truth, which is a program. Okay, so you can go through those states where you can like have a program pushed onto you, but ultimately you're just trying to rise. What do they want you to? So let's use this now as an analogy. What's his name? The weeping prophet. So this is the Hierophant, a weeping prophet. Who is he? Okay. Well, what's his name? I think it's in a Jewish doctrine. He's a weeping prophet. So he cries and he says, God is great and all this. And I don't know what he's talking about, but yeah, God is great. And then he says, he said something about, it's almost like there's an analogy that it's like, if you can rise to here, you become poor. And I think it's because they don't want you to rise to there. So it's almost like if you ended up having a mental illness, you might be having the potential to rise. And I think I said this in one of my other videos a long time ago. But you can have the potential to rise in these dynamics here to get to these spaces. And this is a raise of conscious. This is a rising of consciousness. Okay, so when everyone's like, "Oh yeah, we're going 5D," I think it's that one. But it says 5D's there. So we all go into strength, Are we all going to judgment? Because in strength, we can find strength through judgment still. Okay, so this is probably the key word there. This is an aspect of strength, because we're in the red. Whatever reason, you might have been victimised, still in the red concept, right? Anyway, so this one can be a programmable state as well. So we're all reaching 5D, are we? What's 5D? Astral places, astral planes. You know, is this where it's all at? Is it the new entertainment for the higher classes? Think about it. Anyway, so if you reach up to here, you aren't allowed. I don't think you're allowed. I think you end up below your own molest and all sorts of stuff. They don't want you to rise up there. Okay? They want you down here. Or on the other side, or die down, I'm going up bend and that. They don't want you up here because it's almost like you're bringing something so nourishing to the masses that it can be in under aspects. You're not able to be controlled anymore. So if you can surpass your psychoses, if you surpass that without taking medication, if you can surpass this, yeah, because a lot of people will push away from you because of a seize. So it depends what program you was pushed into on that seize. You have to really understand this one now. You would have been pushed into a program on a programmable state, so you didn't remember your childhood trauma, so you didn't remember something. You can be pushed into those programs. It's sad, but I think this is what's going on. And I think if you don't care, if you don't give a crap, you're going to sit there and like, whatever, then I don't care, go away, right? I'm a very logical woman. We'll just come into you like this because it's about time someone said this. That, you know, there might be people saying this, but it's about time someone said this, and I'm saying it because I don't see anybody saying it. So if they are, woohoo! If they ain't, well, I'm doing it. So here we go. So we've got programs. This is like entertainment or something. I don't know what's going on there, but it must be like entertainment. But they stop you from rising, so they want you here. So they can do that to you on a 3D realm. Obviously, keep you there. Judgment, support. Oh, we're going to put you in a mental institution. We're going to support you. Yeah, right, whatever. You're going to judge me. There's no family going to see them anymore because of what's happened to them. They push all the family away concept. And then who's looking after them? Nobody. They get pushed down. This is how they put people in mental institutions, to push them down. And then what they do is they psycho work on them, break their tree. Sorry, but it's true. And if you put your family members in a mental institution, then I don't, just because you have a life and you think, oh, this is this and this. No, mate, you're not good people because you don't care about them. You've had enough. You've had enough to do, so you're going to just give them to a corporation to look after. How dare you? Anyway, so this is what they were doing with kids in when they were like testing drugs and stuff. I watched YouTube and there was one kid and he was in a mental institution, and I haven't been in one, by the way, and there's a reason. So there's a reason why I haven't been in one. Do you get it? Because I didn't go to a mental institution, right? So what did I do instead? Ding. Right, so some of these things can happen in here, in these programs, where like you might be getting dragged. Like what do people say up there? What's the most profound thing that a white magician could ever say? What is it? Come on. What is it? What is that profound line? We're all, what, one? Are we hellas? Are we hellas? No, we are not. No, we are not, right? So let's bring back the analogy of the sun and the sky. And, you know, there might be some fluffy clouds in there. But when the blue sky and the yellow sun, and then you go down and then you look at the grass and it's green. So yellow and blue make green, and they're all different and they're all separate. Okay? So it's not, is it? We're not all one, are we? It's the biggest part of crap that I've ever heard in my whole entire life. You gotta think, right? where the hell you're off? Where you off? No, it's not a truth, is it? It's not that. That, when I rose, that wasn't that, was it? I didn't feel that when I was up there. It was beautiful. It was harmonious. I understood we weren't all one, but we were all pieces to a puzzle. But we weren't all one. You know? It's like a puzzle. We're all pieces to a puzzle. And, you know, if you got some falsies in there, well, they're broke, aren't they? You might have some missing. Well, there's no support. The tree's bust. They just put programs there instead to push you into judgment. I hope you follow me with this. And this can stop us from rising up to a true understanding for people, to care about people, to know a real truth what's going on in someone's life. They might just be being hurt. They might have just been being judged in the wrong ways. Just to take something. Love, maybe. A wisdom that you've acquired through understanding we are not all one. Because I did that as well. Right, so I rose all the way to the top in 2020. Cheers, Hades. So, I did this, right? And, but there are people in positions of power that don't want us to rise there. Now, this is like a psycho sees. So a psycho sees, they're stopping you in a mental concept to rise. Hopefully you're following me with this. So I can understand what it is, and what a psycho sees is. I can understand as well what a schizo is. Schizophrenic, I think, sometimes. I mean, that's just like, I've observed that. You know, I've never actually experienced that kind of stuff. Nah, that don't work with me. Do you know what I mean? Can't do that. So, like, they're programs. They're mental programs. You can call them mental disorders. You can call them whatever you want, but it's labelling, isn't it? Because the true reality is that you're not actually a mental disorder. You know, something's happened to you. A program's been placed upon you, push your eyes in your head concept, where they have pushed that idea onto you that you might be unworthy. And that's how they keep the jobs. Peace.